Today I'd like to go over how to install an accessory into your vehicle off of basically hardwiring it into your junction box. Currently right now I've got a dash cam that is running off of the cigarette lighter, but I don't like using that because especially in my vehicle it is a always hot connection, so basically I have to disconnect the plug-in every single time I shut my car off and go in somewhere, and that's going to continually draw power, possibly run my battery down, but also shorten the life of the accessory that I'm putting in. You can do this with a variety of accessories. The one I'm doing is a dash cam, but you can do this with radar detector, cigarette lighters, car chargers like a cell phone charger, but many others that, especially for mine, that take 5 volts. So what I've got down here is an add fuse that's going to be hooking right up into one of the fuse slots that I can either run off by itself, or I can basically add a fuse, which is you're parallel. If I remember correctly, this is paralleling it, so you're running 12 volts to this, and you're going to have a fuse for the original connection, whether it be like a radio or the wipers or something like that, and then you're also going to piggyback off of that with another fuse to run off this accessory. So got the add fuse. This right here is the 12 volt DC to 5 volt DC converter. So this is taking 12 volts DC voltage and bringing it down to 5 volts, which would run my dash cam. And then it's going to go out to the cable, which I have to modify. I basically have to take this off and then get to the red and black wires that are in this. So let me cut that off, get some of the other stuff prepared, and we will continue with the next step. Alright, so just a brief overview of what I've done here. We've got our ground wire that we can connect to the frame of the vehicle. This is the add fuse connected to the positive input side of your converter. This is your output side, so the yellow will go to your ground, the other red will go to your hot wire or your red wire, and then the main cable out to your accessory. So let's go ahead and install this in the vehicle. Alright, so this is what I'm trying to power. That is my dash cam sitting up on the top of my windshield. And as you can see, the wire goes up and into my headliner. It actually goes along the headliner, down that column, and down underneath. It basically runs right along here and right into the center console here. And actually currently I've got, let me get my light back around here because it is a bit dark in my garage. It runs currently to a cigarette lighter connector, and I have to pull this thing off every single time because, as you can see, like, keys are not in the ignition. Let's get it up there. It will light up, and it is starting up. I do not want that. I want to be able to turn my ignition off and that shut off automatically, and that's what we are doing with this wiring harness. So let me get all this wiring taken out, and then we'll install the new wiring, and I'll show you how I'm putting it into the junction box, which the interior junction box is right here. We'll be using one of those 10 amp fuses that are not hot when it is off, and we will try to find that one in just a minute. Usually ones you can use are like the radio or the wipers or I think actually one of the ones in there does not have a fuse, and that would be like my 5 CD changer, which this vehicle doesn't have one, so I may just go ahead and run it through that one. So let me run the new wires, and we will get to the next step. Alright, so I've got my wire routed. It goes up through the headliner and actually down this column here, and it goes through the side underneath the wheel and comes basically straight through, and got this jumble of wires here that we need to hook up now. So before you do this, make sure that you unhook your battery before you mess with some of these panels or these fuses, so you don't bust anything. We are going to take the one for the radio off. The radio is this one right here in the center, so let's go ahead and remove that one. There we go. So pull the radio fuse out, take your add fuse. You're actually going to want to insert the original back in to the fuse, so, or the add fuse, so it's being used. So let's get that in now. Okay, I'm sure that's all the way down in there. Let's go ahead and install it. For this to work, I need to flip it so it's like this down, and we'll simply just insert it into the fuse slot. There we go. Now it's in. Now the next piece is to install your ground, and unfortunately this ground, the nut is too big, so I found another spot right down here. I'm going to use one of the screws that actually hold the console in, and I'm actually going to put it in between the little insert. As you can see, there's a little black insert there. Let's see if I can put this here, and I should be able to slip it right behind and use the hole through the center, but it's also going to be grounded on the chassis. So there we go. I should just be able to push the screw right back through, and it's installed. We'll have to tighten that down in just a moment. So even though it's a jumbled mess, let's give this a try. Alright, so let's go ahead and test this out. Jumble wires, ground, everything is hooked up. We are going to put the key in, and let's see if it starts up like I hope it does. There we go.
Make so many glow.
There she goes. She is on. Now let's go ahead and shut her off. See if it'll shut off. Perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. All I have to do is figure out where to finish putting these wires so it looks nice and clean, put the panels back on, clean up, and I'm all set to go. Hopefully this was helpful for you. This was actually a learning experience for me. I'm not much of an electrician myself, and figuring out how to add little accessories has been a very interesting concept, because we've got so many electronics now that need power, like our phones, our GPS, and trying to drive around with all these electronics and trying to jumble around with at most some of these only have one cigarette lighter. It's nice to actually have something hardwired into the vehicle that we don't have to worry about having to jumble it and figure out which one needs to be charged. We can just hook it up into the fuse box, and then don't even have to worry about moving different chargers. You can just hardwire it in, hook it up, and let it go while the vehicle's on. So hopefully this was helpful for you. It was certainly a good modification for me, because now I can run my dash cam on hardwired power.